Of course, on Tuesday, logical nonsense. I wish I could say it like Giuliani from Street Fighter. You know what I'm saying? The movie. What's up, man? I just want to catch up. I just want to catch up. I've been away for like a couple weeks and shit. Christmas season, even though I don't really celebrate Christmas. You know what I'm saying? Off for a couple of days. I was doing other shit. What up, sick? So it's been a crazy, you know what I'm saying? It's been a crazy couple of days. And you know what really fucked up though? You know what's really fucked up the other day? Saturday, right? Saturday night I had Sunday all planned and everything, right? And then I woke up in the middle of the night for no goddamn reason and I walked downstairs and went to the restroom, which is weird because I have a restroom in my bedroom. Why the fuck would I, you know what I'm saying? I don't know why I did that shit. But I was walking in the dark, right? As I walked past this plant that I brought from outside the crib in because it's wintertime. I came across it, and one of the branches hit my eye like hard as fuck. So hard that I can't even open my eye. So I just, you know what I'm saying, walked through the dark with one eye and went to the restroom and went to bed like every other man on the planet. Wasn't scared of shit. You know what I'm saying? But the next morning, bro, I still couldn't open my eye. It was like fucked up. Like I had this whole Sunday plan, right? And my right eye wouldn't open. What's up, Jemiah? Oh, cyberpunk capping ass motherfucker. Do you though? Do you though? I don't have a super PC. You feel me? So it is what it is. What's up, Magnificent Black? The truth. You know what I mean? So as I walked back from the restroom and just went to bed, I think the worst of it is it'll be fine by the morning. But by the morning, shit still won't open, right? So I stayed at the crib all Sunday and couldn't do shit. I don't know if y'all know this shit, but it's hard as fuck to play games with one eye. I feel bad for anyone who has only one eye. Just one eye, fam. Like what's his name? Was that rapper with one eye? Can he play games, bro? Like I don't know. Like if that's all you have, if one eye is your default, it might be fine. But I have two eyes. You know what I'm saying? Like losing one for like a day and a half was terrifying, cause I couldn't see all Sunday through my right eye. It just won't open. And then I start thinking the worst, like, damn, did I cut it or something? Like, is my right eye fucked? And I start getting mad because I was like, well, damn, if I lose my right eye, why can't I have like a cool ass scar like Sub Zero or some shit just to, you know what I'm saying? Just to be gangster with it. You know what I mean? I might as well shit. I don't, like, at least I could tell a cool story, like make up some bullshit. I don't want to tell somebody like my right eye got taken out by like a fucking summer plant. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, Fetty Wap. There you go. Thanks, Jemima. But I was mad as fuck all Sunday, and I started getting scared Sunday night because I try to open my right eye like with my hands just to see in there and shit, and just to see out. And as I try to do that, bro, I couldn't see it. I couldn't see my eye, fam. It was like the scariest thing. Like I couldn't focus with my other eye onto my eye in the screen to see it properly because I could barely see out of my right eye. Bruh, it was the most terrifying day of my life. By like 9 p.m., it starts setting in. You feel me? Like by 9 p.m., bruh. Like and you've been sitting there with one eye, can't play video games, just watching random YouTube videos with one eye and shit, right? So I'm just sitting there with one eye, like just start like getting terrified by like 9 p.m. Like just shit, is this how it's gonna go down, man? I'm just gonna lose an eye like this, yo. I started getting terrified, right? And I was like, you know what? By Monday morning, if shit don't get better, I might have to call somebody. And I don't know if y'all know this, but I think this is like all dudes. But strictly as Asian dudes, we don't call the doctor for shit unless it's some serious shit. The doctors is for my mama, and she's like in her 70s. Ain't no reason for me to call the doctor for nothing ever, but I was like, you know what? I might have to call somebody about this shit. And it wasn't actually that bad by Monday morning, thankfully, right? By Monday morning I woke up and I can open it. But I was still scared because even though I can open it, I can't keep it open for longer than 7 or 8 seconds at a time. Like I have to like close it for like 3, 4 seconds before I can open it again for that long, right? And I can barely see out of my right eye, bruh. And it was just every time I blink, like shit just get blurry as fuck in my right eye. And throughout the day, it's slowly getting a little bit better and better. But that shit was terrifying, bruh. And so I just regained like vision, not properly either. My right eye is still kind of fucked up. Thankfully, um, oh damn. I mean, old girl's sister said it's just not that. It's just you know what I'm saying. I just agitated real bad. My eye just needs time to fix itself and shit. but but that shit was terrifying, bro. I ain't gonna front. Um, but yeah, man, that for that day and a half that I can't see and shit through my right eye, it's weird because like you lose sensory of one thing and you gain other shit. Like you gain like better hearing and shit because as fucked up as it is, as Monday morning showed up, I went to work with one eye and I drove with basically one eye, fam. Like I only have two eyes for every 3, 4 seconds at a time for an interval of about 7 to 8 seconds. That's all I got while I'm driving on the highway to work. I live like 15 minutes away from work, but that means I have to hop on the interstate and shit to get there in 15 minutes. It's not 15 minutes like down the street 15 minutes. You know? So I'm on the highway a solid 10 minutes, 10 minutes at least. You know what I mean? Just with one eye and shit. And motherfucker didn't even call in to, for a day off or nothing. That's that's how motherfucker do it. Because motherfucker don't want to admit to his boss that like, motherfucker, I fucked up my right eye walking to the restroom and shit in the middle of the night. You know what I mean? So, I mean, but it's crazy. Like, I got this weird perspective, and like I started looking around and shit. Once like by Monday evening, I could see clearly enough, like that I can actually see letters. You know what I'm saying? Because I couldn't see letters for like a hot second. Like it was the craziest shit. When I look at newspaper or just text on screen and shit, all I see is just a blank blur and shit. So it's not that I didn't do one on Sunday out of choice. I wanted to do one on Sunday. It's just motherfucker I couldn't see. And I'm not gonna sit here with one eye talking to y'all. I wasn't in no mood talking to nobody. Sitting here thinking to myself, I might lose a motherfucking eye, alright? So that's why I'm doing it now. And no cyberpunk today. Like I'm done. I feel like that motherfucker been kicked, punched, and beaten to death, resurrected, choked to death again. Like I'm done with it. Like it is what it is. Y'all know what it is. It happened. You know what I mean? It happened. All that shit happened. We going through the motions, legals, all that shit. You know what I mean? But I do want to bring up Cyberpunk for one thing. Like for the longest time, I didn't know what like to do with this motherfucking channel, right? And there's not like no New Year's resolution shit. I don't believe in that shit. You either do some shit or you don't. You know what I mean? If you have New Year resolution, that's just basically mean you ain't trying to do it now. I don't believe in that shit. I just had an epiphany of what to do with this motherfucking channel. As y'all could tell, all I do is just do a podcast every now and then. I don't. It's not that I'm lazy with it. It's just I don't really know what to do with this shit. But I figure it out. Last couple of days, as I sit here with one eye, I just have the perspective of a dude with one fucking eye that can't play games like that. I'm sure, like, let me take that back with those who only have one eye. I'm pretty sure they could play games. I'm pretty sure they could. It's just I'm so used to having bifocal vision. I don't know. Is that the right terminology? Bifocal? It's probably not, right? I think it is. Two focusing, right? Bifocal. Isn't that to have two eye motherfucking to have two fucking eyes, right? I mean that's the default that I'm with. So when I like boot up a game with one eye, I couldn't do it. It's like the depth perception was all the way fucked up when you play a video game. It's worse when you drive in heavy rush hour traffic too. But I made it. You know, just shit I had to do. You know what I mean? Yeah, that shit. Yeah, I have stereo vision, bro. I don't want none of that. Was it mono vision? Fuck all that. Fuck mono vision, bro. That shit was terrifying. I couldn't enjoy shit for like a day and a half, man. So once I have enough vision in my right eye again, like I was so thankful to have this motherfucker. Like you take the littlest thing for granted, you know what I mean? I don't take like my lifestyle for granted. Like I never actually did that because I came from way less, like way less than this. Like my lifestyle is amazing right now. I didn't take that for granted, but at the same time, man, you can never imagine, bruh. Just a day and a half of sitting there thinking, oh shit, I might lose this eye, bruh. Because that, you know what type of plant that is? Look this shit up. This is it's called the Queen of the Night. That's just gangster as fuck, right? Queen of the Night. It blooms only at night, cut. It's like a cactus. So I had to keep it in the crib. And the fucked up part is this motherfucker grow big as fuck, so I had to trim it. So one of that part is like it's been trimmed a long time ago, but it's dull now. It's not sharp like when I trimmed it, but it's still pokey enough to like fuck my eye up for like a day and a half. Like I couldn't see for a day and a half. Like if it was yesterday, I wouldn't even see what y'all typing right now. I wouldn't even know who's here and shit if I look out of my right eye. Like I wouldn't be able to see shit. It was the most terrifying day and a half ever. But I'm glad it happened, bro. Like it just remind me what's important in life sometimes. You know what I mean? It just is crazy as shit sometimes. Like like just over the littlest shit. And after that, I felt like giving, right? And this is the part of the story that is really fucked up for me, anyways, right? I felt like I was in such a giving mood, even though motherfucking Christmas was like over and shit. Like Christmas was already done and shit. It's not about Christmas. I was just in a good mood. I want to give back, right? And I was driving home from work with both, you know what I'm saying, eyeball working and shit. Not fully, all right. I still a little fucked up, but it's okay. I can see properly enough to drive like a normal motherfucker on the road and shit. Not terrified of shit, you know what I mean? So I got off the exit ramp and same thing every day. There's a dude standing there with a fucking sign, right? And so it's just fucked up, right? Because I didn't give him money. I rolled my window down. I was like, bruh, because usually I see like an old person, and sometimes when I see old person and people out there with signs and shit, I break down. I give them money straight up. Like I can't like. I'm sorry. Like it's rampant in my city nowadays. Like in Louisville, it's crazy. Like how much homeless people there is, right? And like I was coming off the ramp. Usually it's like an old person, like someone in like their 50s, 60s and shit. So I give them a little bit of money or some shit. But like this time it's like a young dude, right? So like I rolled down my window. I was like, "Hey, bro, I'm not gonna give you any money, but if you want a job, my brother like flip houses for a living. He got a crew of motherfuckers that is on payroll and shit. He pays like $14 an hour. If you wanna do that, I can hook you up. You know what I mean? You want some food? I can get you some food and shit. You know what I mean? Give him the number and shit, and he don't want it. He really don't want it, bro. He's like, this dude is probably younger than me. He looks younger than me. I don't know exactly how old he is. But what you mean, bro? You out here with a sign, you could be making $14 an hour. What you mean? That part of the story, like fucked me up. Like, cause I was driving home from that shit mad as fuck. I gave you something better than $5, bro. What you mean? I gave you a life back. Don't nobody want to do that shit, right? Just stand out there with a sign all day and shit. Because it's always the same thing. Like as I go to work, as I go into entrance ramp, as I come back from work, exit ramp, it's just the same shit. It's crazy though, bruh. Like I feel like that has to be the case, sick. But that's me though. When I see a dude my age, somewhat younger, a little bit older than me, like if you like in your teens, like in your you look like you should be like 17 or 18 all the way up into like your 50s, like your mid 50s, you know what I'm saying? And you out there with a sign, I don't know if I really give a fuck about you like that, bruh. Like we out here struggling too. Look, I ain't gonna front. I'm not struggling. Like, but you know, see if I lose both my jobs. See what happens. See if bills don't get paid around here. See if the taxes don't get paid. You know, in America, you own property. You never really own property. I'm kind of salty because I just paid my property tax. Oh, $1,800 worth on my property, and another 1,400 worth on another one. it's it's rough. It's rough. You know what I mean? You own property, but you never really own property and shit. I paid it like a few weeks ago, and that shit still hurts. Like in November. I'm going all over the place. I'm just in a good mood. Motherfucker, I thought I was gonna lose an eye. You know what I mean? Turns out I was just being a bitch. You know what I mean? But I'm glad though. Bruh. Jemiah, bruh. I live in the blue area of this state. Thank you, sir. I live where all the culture is at. As you can tell, I'm here. I'm not in any other part of the state, as you notice. What you mean, Jemiah? That man does not represent me. Oh, Mr. Burns looking ass motherfucker. Oh, that motherfucker terrifies me. He is everything that a little Asian kid is terrified of. Mitch McConnell. Growing up, I'm terrified of a motherfucker like that. Like Mitch McConnell? Man, get that motherfucker away from me, bro. Like, oh, Jesus. But see, it's sick though. Real talk though. Like motherfuckers wish they have that type of problem. You feel me? I'm complaining, but I wish I have all this. You know what I mean? And respect to that, like, can't imagine the amount of properties you gotta deal with. I only have to deal with two. Ain't even that big. It ain't even that big of a deal. My shit is just simple, and it's like 3 streets down, bro. Like, you know what I mean? I don't call nobody for shit. I just show up and take care of myself. It's nice. But yeah, man, it's a wonderful feeling to have this motherfucking eye back. I was fucking mad as fuck for a day and a half. Both like scared and mad is one of that shit, that type of shit. But you know what I mean? It's like because of that, I start thinking about just because I just sat there for a while because you can only watch so much YouTube videos on a fucking Sunday. You know what I'm saying? And it was like beautiful out on Sunday too. I was mad as fuck. I was mad as fuck. Like it was beautiful out on Sunday, bruh. But I was just sitting in my room, just mad as fuck. Not even my game room, because there's no point. I was just even more mad watching the PlayStation 5 with my left eye. You know what I mean? So I just sat in my bedroom, like emo as fuck, like just in my zone, just thinking about shit. This shit was for like a solid 2 hours. I was like, you know what? I'm about to go to sleep. YouTube was still on. I'm not like in the dark, like by myself, all quiet and shit. That's no. Like I was still watching shit. It's just I was just in my zone for a little bit. without an eye and shit. You know what I mean? So I just started thinking about shit like throughout this whole generation, well, generation past. We on a new one. At least some of us are. Some of y'all still, in the last one. And it's like, and it's like, I think I've been approaching this wrong, man. I feel like I fucked up. I feel like I should have been more proactive. You know what I mean? I should have made more videos. I got stuff in the works. I don't want to tell y'all about it. Y'all just gonna see it happen. You feel me? I just got stuff in the works because I just been sitting there for like hours by myself just watching shit, and I got real bored. You know what? You know what, sick? You know how like when you was down with like COVID for a while and you was like talking to what I'm saying, whoever you talk to, right? I had a split second of that. Like I knew I wasn't gonna die, nothing. You know what I mean? But I'd rather, to be really real with you, to not have like both of my eyes and shit and deal with just one. Like I'd rather like to tell you the truth, I'd rather like just like pretend like I don't see a bus coming because I only have one eye and shit and just step out there, bro. Like fuck all that. I'm just playing. I don't know if I was gonna do all that, but I might like because I'd rather. I don't want to deal with all that shit. I don't want. I don't even want to lose like a couple of fingers. I ain't gonna. I don't even want to do it. Like I just want to like just take me out, brother. Why are you doing this to me? You know what I mean? So that's how I was feeling. I was just sitting there like, man, just take me out, man. Why would you do this? Like, hey, on some real shit, sick. I prayed the shit I don't even believe in for a hot second. But shit, I don't believe in because to me, like, I don't really believe no, organized shit. Even the shit that I'm like affiliated with, I'm like Buddhist only in the the necessary teachings, not so much the religious aspect. I can't verify none of that. So you know what I mean? So like I pray the shit I don't even believe for a hot second, bro. Like don't do me like this. I mean, if you gonna do this to me, at least give me a Sub-Zero scar or some shit, so I can have a cool story. You know what I'm saying? I can make one up with like what I'm saying, some kind of crazy shit. I want to tell some bullshit story about a fucking Queen of the Night plant fucking stabbed me in my eye in the middle of the night because I must have drank too much shit the night before. You know what I'm saying? Fuck all that. But yeah, man, just to say I have shit in the works. So I'm just glad to come back. I don't want to talk about Cyberpunk. Like I said, I feel like it's just enough. But Cyberpunk did trigger me to figure out some things that I want to do with my channel. This channel been sitting still because I always just didn't know what to do with it. But I figured out a couple things, and y'all just see it happens, right? But let's talk about this channel now that I gotten that out the way. I don't know if y'all enjoy that story or not, but I figure I'll share that with y'all on slice of life shit. Some silly ass shit that motherfuckers go through that probably would never tell your ass. They probably come back on talking about, oh, I was out with the family and shit. Nah, fuck all that. I fucked my eye up for like a day and a half. That's what happened. And was gangster about it for like a day. Well, not a day, like for 3/4 of a day until like like bedtime slowly sneak in, and my eyes still hadn't opened. This one is fucked up. That's when motherfuckers start praying to shit motherfucker don't even believe it. But let's talk about this generation now that we got that out the way. The previous generation that some of us was on, because some of us are still back there, and I hope more PlayStations or Xbox come out to your liking. You know what I mean? I'm only saying Xbox just to be nice. I ain't gonna front. I don't really think most people give a fuck like about Xbox for real. I feel like if you want an Xbox, it's not that hard. I ain't gonna front. Any kind, S, X, any one of them. You know what I mean? It don't matter what type of console. I don't think motherfuckers just hype, and that's just the way it is. I'm not kicking them. Like it's just the truth. We seen the last generation. We seen the start of this generation. It's the same shit over and over, right? So that's I mean, I keep seeing this thing where I keep seeing this thing where people still bring up Don Matrick, like I saw the other day, right? Before I stopped getting on Twitter for a while, saw this dude was like picture of uh, Phil Spencer above sign. I don't know what y'all call it. I forgot what it's called. Like greater than sign, right? Or I forgot the correct terminology. And then Don Matrick. And I'm just like, why? How? Like, why? Why? Why do you think that this the prior generation? Let's not even blame it on dude. This is the generation y'all starting with fam. Like, what do you mean? When is enough enough? Like Don Matrick fucked up on one thing. He just told y'all what it is. You want to play offline? You just get your ass a 360. That's just what it is. I guess Don didn't finesse y'all enough to let it happen. You know what I mean? I guess Don didn't finesse it enough. You know what I mean? Phil took a whole generation to finesse that back in there, and it's in there now. It's good. How do we even talk about a whole generation? Like it's easy to recap this year, but how do we recap a whole generation? A whole lot of good games came out on PlayStation. You know what I mean? I don't even know where to start. There's just so many. Like I would actually have to sit here and count all of them, like slowly and slowly, and I would need y'all to help me. Like I couldn't remember all this shit. What's up, Coon? Y'all just show up randomly on a Tuesday like that, man. I appreciate it. But game of the generation, man. I've been thinking about game of the generation for me for like the whole generation. You know what? I feel like God of War still is my game of the generation. It's my favorite game of of PlayStation 4. I hope Ragnarok isn't though. I ain't gonna front. I hope something beats it this generation. I don't want God of War Ragnarok to be this. And to be honest with you, maybe I just have weird taste, right? Maybe I just have weird taste, but the second runner up to God of War is Death Stranding. I know motherfuckers like think I'm crazy for, but I think Death Stranding is like damn near, bro, damn near game of the generation for me, man. And I know it's crazy to say, like I know motherfuckers like I like the game, but game of the generation, like it should be. Y'all just don't understand. It should be. It's worth so much, motherfuckers just don't pay attention. It's worth so much. If y'all just play the fucking game and get the message, it's amazing. Apparently, it's amazing now that it's on PC, or so I've heard. You know what I mean? I heard it's amazing now after motherfuckers and played it like damn near. Well, it's over a year, right? It's been a long ass time since Death Stranding came out. How many years has it been? See, this is what happened when you smoke like weed day in and day out, right? Like time just blends in together. Like you remember like a lot of shit. You just don't remember anything. Yeah, I mean, and not to get too existential or sick, like the narrative was on point, but the message was like dope as fuck. You know what I mean? But motherfucker just refuse to like actually just enjoy it for what it is. Like I feel like it's like damn near Ghost is a solid game. Don't get me wrong, I like playing it. Matter of fact, I really enjoy playing it. But game of the generation though, it's lacking to give it that. And you know how much I love Ghost too. So for me to say it's lacking, it means a lot. I feel like God of War is pretty polished. It's as solid as you can get as a standalone game. You know what I mean? Like it's just God of War as a game. You don't even have to play like the original series to get the game. Like you just play that game. I mean, let's start with this year, right? And go back as far as we need to. But I mean, I would talk about The Last of Us and shit being game of the generation, but I'm not OBJ the Dom. Like The Last of Us 1 and 2 is probably his game of the generation every generation. You know what I mean? I'm not him though. Like I don't think The Last of Us is the game of the generation for me because I still feel like gameplay was lacking in the first one. I'm sorry. I'm just being real with y'all. Gameplay was lacking in the first one. In the second one, gameplay is solid. The nuance of what you could do in the second game is crazy. But in the first game, gameplay was pretty simple and straightforward. It's run of the mill really. It's like as far as gameplay, but Last of Us gameplay is solid enough. It, there's no negative to it. It's just there wasn't any nuance to it at all. It's just very simple, straightforward, enjoyable combat, but it's just simple, right? There's I don't know. I guess I just enjoy more of a beat 'em up type of action game if it comes to that, right? Or at least make it interesting, like the second one. The second one made it interesting. There's so much you can do in the second one. Man, why y'all like this all the time? What's up, Stardust? Why y'all like this all the time? Can't a motherfucker just have a normal Tuesday evening fucking or late night? I guess 10:30 is late night to motherfuckers. I always feel like that's still evening. It's not that late. I don't consider it late until like 11 or at least midnight. Probably because I'm a night owl and shit. I don't really. You know what's really weird? I always have a night, like a day job, but I always have a problem going to sleep at night. I never like went to sleep at a normal hour for a motherfucker who wake up at like 7 a.m., 8 a.m. in the morning to go to work. You know what I mean? I be going to sleep at like 2, 3 a.m. and shit. And I think my age is catching up to me because like I get tired more and more. Like I need more sleep more and more. I notice I've been like drawing that back as what I'm saying, as life goes on. Like I'm drawing it back more and more. Like now I'm back. Now I'm down to like 1:30. It used to be like 3 o'clock. Like I'll wake back up at 7. I've done that like practically all my life, bro. I've never like I never enjoyed the daytime. I only wake up because I enjoy work enough to actually come into it. And I'm not saying like work doesn't have its like shittiness. It does a lot. Seriously, like it's just, you know what I mean, there's a lot of shit with work that sucks real bad, but there's only three things about what I do that makes it worth it, and that's all I do it for. This was not my calling in life to do what I do. You know what I mean? Not that I don't enjoy it at all, but like real talk, when I was a kid, what I wanted to do was to be like a biologist. I don't know why I gave up on that. I forgot. It's probably because of pussy and and other shit. It's probably all that shit. But that's what I wanted to be, like growing up as a kid. Damn, I'm getting all kind of personal now. I'm like going through an existential shit just because motherfucker almost lose an eye, like going through all kinds of shit. No, but so like I was saying, Ghost of Tsushima, great game. It is not game of the generation. It is not even. I don't even want to say it's not even in the drawing because that's tough. You know what I'm saying? I feel like Ghost deserved that. I feel like Ghost deserved to be in the drawing at least. You know what I mean? For game of the generation. I don't think it deserves it, but at least it's in the drawing for it. The Last of Us 2, but it's uh The Last of Us 2, like it's good, but it's not game of the generation good. What's up? Get this work. You know what I mean? It's good. It's a solid ass game, but I don't think it's game of the generation good. I still feel like God of War is that game of the generation. It's encompassed the generation. I mean, the memes that comes from it still hasn't stopped all the way. I bet you it's not gonna stop until the next game that come out that will birth new memes and will leave these one behind. You know what I mean? Yeah, Ghost has some decent amount of flaws. Like I ain't gonna hold you. It's but it's a solid ass game still. Like everything that it has, I'm like in the back of my mind, I'm like dying to like tell y'all what I'm trying to do later. But like, is this conversation is like kind of a part of that. But Ghost is a great game overall. Um, it just doesn't hit all the criteria in my opinion. You know what I mean? This is all subjective. You know what I mean? It's all just my way of thinking. It's not objective at all. You know, I'm just thinking why I feel the way I feel like from the games I play. Sekiro deserved to be in there. I think Sekiro is an amazing game, and Bloodborne. Bloodborne is definitely in the drawing. Matter of fact, Bloodborne is probably in the top five, in my opinion, of games that deserve to be game of the generation. I know I'm naming a lot of PlayStation shit, but goddamn, man, PlayStation had a lot of good shit. I don't think Uncharted, even though as solid as the game as Uncharted was, I don't think it deserved that. It's solid. It's conclusion, a good story, all that stuff, graphic on point. But the only issue I ever have with the last of not the last of us Uncharted is that after you play it once, you lose a little bit of that thrill, like because you know what's gonna happen next. You know what I mean? But you could say that about most games, though. I mean, yeah, you could say that about most games. So I don't really know, man. It's a solid game. It's just, I think God of War just like stood out to me. That has a total package. I mean, does God of War have flaws? There's some very minute flaws. You can nitpick at it. You know what I mean? But I think overall as a game, it's as solid as a game as you can get. It is worth every penny of your money. You know what I mean? Detroit Become Human. I don't know how to call that, man, because I'm still in the fucking mindset that when you play a game, there should be more gameplay. But the narrative that Detroit take you through is really dope. Like I enjoyed playing through it like 2 3 times, like getting different scenarios. I usually have the good scenarios, like good endings. You know what I mean? One or two of the main characters might die. Like not main characters, one of like the side like mains. You know what I mean? Might die. You know what I mean? But that's it. Like none of the main characters die on my playthroughs. Yeah, cool. That's not really that big of a flaw. It is silly though. It does kind of after a while it does kind of break immersion. You know what I mean? Because it's goofy that you just kick the chain, and then you crawl down and like halfway through the chain, and then you stop because that's the game doing it by default, and then your ass just climb back up. After a while, you're like, all right, this is kind of goofy. You know what I mean? First couple times you're like, it's whatever, but by mid game, you're like, god damn, man! Like every time I like kick a motherfucking chain, this dude has to climb down it. Why? Doesn't that take more work, to be real with you? Like, doesn't that take more work? Or do they not want to put a prompt button? Is that what it is? But it's gonna be a prompt button there anyways once you climb up. I don't know, man. Like, I feel like it takes more work to not like to animate not only kicking the chain but like climbing down it. Just automatically making your character do that. Like, right? Just animate him kicking the chain. Wouldn't that just be easier? But I mean, that's really nitpicky though. Like, if that's all you can really say about a motherfucking game, then I could say way more than that on Ghost of Tsushima. And I love Ghost. Ghost has like a few like major flaws, unfortunately, that I hope get rectified, in a sequel. I hope there is a sequel. And speaking of sequels and shit, there will be all kinds of spoilers to games that y'all may or have not, what I'm saying, may or may not have played. So consider yourself warned. If I start talking about a game and it looks like I'm going in depth, I'm spoiling that bitch. So I appreciate, goddamn, really, 19, 20 of y'all motherfuckers here, but if y'all might be sensitive to certain games that have came out over last couple years, y'all might want to be out, because if I start talking about what I hope for, like in like sequels and shit, I might just spoil some of the shit in previous games. And I don't know why y'all here and not play those games yet. You know what I mean? Not a hero. That's pretty good. Spider Man was your? I guess you're a big Spider Man head than Stardust. I mean, because Spider Man is good too. Spider Man is actually really good for Insomniac to do what they did with Spider Man, because it's Spider Man. You don't even have to go that hard. You know what I mean? You didn't even have to dig into lore and go that hard, but you did, and you built a whole nother universe for Spider Man, and still just made it make sense. I mean, if you think about it, Spider Man PS4, like PS4 Spider Man Peter Parker, he actually had it pretty easy. He actually had it pretty easy. His storyline, he had it easy as fuck. Think about it. Think about it. He's in his 20s. This motherfucker's out of college. He's, what I'm saying, working and shit now. He's a grown ass man now, right? Never fought Venom. Never fought Green Goblin. Never fought the Lizard. Well, I don't know. I don't know if they have or have not. If y'all played Miles Morales already, y'all already know what's up. Miles Morales is still kind of early. I don't wanna ruin that for motherfuckers yet. No, fuck that. Yeah, I do. Yeah, I do. Fuck it. At the end of Miles Morales, when you see Kurt Connors with no, what I'm saying, right arm looking ass, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, I do. You know what I mean? With no right arm, right? So he's gonna be the next one. I don't know if Spider-Man already fought him before or not fought him before. You know what I'm saying? I don't know, but he's in there, so I'm assuming not. I'm assuming like this universe, Peter Parker have never fucking. Oh, what's up, Akumu? Gravity Rush, of course, of course. You know what, man? I gotta admit, as much as I love fighting game, I think I'm trash at it now. Like, I'm just not good. Like, I'm not a scrub by any means. Like, I'm not terrible. Like super garbage. Like anyone could just like run through me and shit. It's not like that, but I'm just not good no more. Like, I need time that I don't have. But I feel like that's just an excuse. You know what I'm saying? But I'm gonna keep trying. I'm gonna keep practicing. It's just ridiculous. Where was I at? Like so like yeah, this universe of Spider-Man, he had it easy as fuck. The only motherfuckers he fought were the Sinister Six, right? And it wasn't even Sinister Six because he's only fighting Doc Ock right now. You feel me? No, I was talking about in game Garuda. I was talking about in game, like in the Spider-Man universe. Like I could still spoil that shit because you don't know about that shit unless you played it. Because things happen differently. Same characters, things just happen differently. And PS4 Spider-Man has the easiest fucking history ever. Unless like there's other shit that he's been doing that that's his universe base. You know what I'm talking about? You think like what are all the things that he's faced? I mean, Silver Sable, but I mean, she's not really even an enemy no more, right? Who has he faced before that? He hasn't faced Venom. He hasn't faced the Green Goblin, his two biggest fucking enemies, right? Not even Hobgoblin. I thought they was gonna throw Hobgoblin in there, right? Because they didn't show Green Goblin yet. Because Spider-Man PS2 wasn't that great. Let's be real. Because of Spider-Man PS2, it was a great game during the PS2 times. Well, yeah, 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 yeah. I'm not talking about that. I'm just saying PS4 Peter Parker had the softest life compared to others Peter Parker. Bruh, other Peter Parker had to fight fucking Green Goblin as a teenager and fight fucking um motherfucking Venom and Carnage as a teenager. As a little kid, bruh. He was already fighting Venom and Carnage. This motherfucker's grown as fuck, hasn't like had to deal with none of that shit. And now Miles has powers. Like this motherfucker had it easy as fuck. It'd be fucked up. He dies though. It'd be real fucked up. I don't think he will because I mean, two Spider-Man can work. Spider-Men, Spider-Men or Spider-Mans. Two Spider-Mans. You know why? Because Spider-Man is not a noun; it's a pronoun. That's their name. Oh, actually, if it's their name, then there's no even need for that. It's just two Spider-Man, right? Sometime I have to work that shit out because this motherfucker's my third language and shit. I mean, Peter in the movies had like more run-ins with shit, like in the original series with Toby. You know what I'm saying? He fought Venom and Sandman, right? And Green Goblin. Matter of fact, Green Goblin was like his first fucking villain. And Doctor Octopus already. Who else? Yeah, is that all? Well, all the main ones at least, right? Was there anyone you was missing? I'm missing, bro. Off the original trilogy, Sandman, Venom, Doc Ock, Green Goblin. I feel like Spider-Man is like in PS4 version, he had the best life. You feel me? he has the best life compared to other people. Peter Parker, even though Aunt May's dead and shit, but you know it is what it is. She had to die sooner or later. And I know that's fucked up to say, but you know she's an old woman. It is what it is. So if you think about it, man, Spider-Man PS4 has so many fucking villains that they fucking throwing in there. We got the Lizard, right? Wilson Fisk looked like he's about to come back, or he's still gonna be running shit from jail, right? Um, Venom, possibly Green Goblin. You know what I feel like is gonna happen? Be honest with you, I feel like, and this is me, maybe, maybe just hoping slash predicting the story, right? I think something's gonna go wrong, and that container's gonna bust with all that green liquid, and it's gonna fall on um, Osborn, right? Father Osborn, Norman Osborn, right? And then that's just gonna transform him into the Green Goblin. He's gonna slowly go crazy from that. Harry's gonna like be the first carrier to the Venom suit, and Pete's gonna have to take it away from him because he's like fucking shit up, right? And when Pete take it, he's gonna have the black suit, and Harry dies because he doesn't have the symbiote to keep him alive anymore. And that's enough motivation for Osborn to try to kill him. And of course, he's going crazy from Green Goblin shit. Anyways, he already has a Green Goblin mask from the first game. Like they already working on a prototype, you know, air suit and shit. So you could possibly see in the second one. Who else? Who else is teasing it already? Maybe Doc Ock will come back, but I think that's too soon. I think they're gonna hold him off for another game because that's just too soon. He was just in the last game. What else? What? Who else? I could have swore that's way more than that. So Venom, maybe Green Goblin, Lizard, Wilson Fisk. I could have swore that's more than that. Am I missing anybody? I feel like I'm missing a couple. I don't know if they're gonna throw any of the Sinister Six back in. I think that's too soon. We already seen them. Maybe they throw in another villain we hadn't seen, like Mr. Negative in the first game. Maybe they pull another one that we haven't seen. Because the first one had a decent amount, even small ones like Shaka and shit. Well, that's the Venom that we know of, the symbiote Venom from outer space. It's in this universe. It looks like it's a lab creation to keep Harry alive, or maybe they found it. I don't know. Morbius. Did they fucking? Oh, you know what? He did fought Mysterio already because there's a motherfucker was dressed up as Mysterio dancing at a costume party in the first game. Tombstone, Hammerhead. Oh yeah, he did fight Tombstone and Hammerhead. Shaka. I mean, decent amount, I guess. Craven though, yeah, he hasn't fought Craven. I don't think. I don't think he fought Craven yet. But yeah, you know what? I'll give him a little props. I mean, but those are like small time villains. As a matter of fact, he smashed Black Cat, so I wouldn't say he really fought her like that. You know, Tombstone, Hammerhead. I mean, Shaka. At least they decent villains, but they not that big of a deal either. I'm talking about the heavy hitters. Like this Pete hadn't deal with Green Goblin or Venom, like his two biggest fucking problems. And Craven too. Craven's up there. I don't think he dealt with Craven yet either. And Carnage. Well, you can't have like Carnage without Venom first. You need Venom first. So it's understandable. But possibly Carnage could be in the third game. Even I mean, even if that's what it's created for. But then again, it would have a mind of its own. So maybe I don't know in this I know there's different universes where Venom was created, the symbiote was created in a lab, right, for medical purposes. So I'm assuming it's the same way with this one, where Venom is made in a lab. The symbiote is not Venom. Venom's the character. The symbiote was made in the lab. But I like to see that, bro. I feel like there's a couple of villains that I'm missing. I'm not saying villains that could be there. I'm just saying villains that they've already teased that's gonna be on there, like whether through the Miles games or the first game. It's not that many, huh? I mean, it's a decent amount. I'm pretty sure there'll be some other cameos and shit. I'm pretty sure they gotta throw some female villains in there too. I don't know if they're gonna gender bend any of them though, because they just might. I know Garuda. That's the. I mean, there's different universes, fam. In certain universes, Venom is actually the symbiote is made in a lab and shit. This could be one of them. Rhino's been overused, man. Rhino's been in the first game and in the Miles Morales one. I think Rhino's good to be in the like to be out. Right, Ayakumu? I want an X-Men game in general. I think an X-Men game with like Final Fantasy VII remake combat would be dope. Like to have the whole team of X-Men do shit, and you can split up and you know what I'm saying, accomplish certain missions and shit. The next Spider-Man game will be dope though on PS5. I mean, it better be made for specifically for the PS5. Otherwise, like, what the fuck did I buy this thing for? If you're just gonna hold it back, putting it on other shit. I don't even have my PS4 no more, bro. I gave that shit away. Let's see. You know what? Like I've been saying this, and I hope this happens, right? I hope the next Ghost game, the next Ghost of Tsushima game, I hope it's not I hope it's not about Mongols. I know there's a second invasion. I just hope it isn't about that. I hope it's about just him like just killing motherfuckers on that island that deserves it. You know what I mean? Just grow the legend of the ghost more. And he would actually have to go deeper into like ninja tactic moves. I know they don't call it that, like they call it ghost because realistically he's about what, 2 centuries? At least a century before like actual times of ninjas and shit. At least. There was still like espionage and assassinations and shit, but it wasn't done by what you would call a ninja. Matter of fact, motherfuckers who call them ninjas they wasn't called ninjas ever. They was actually called shinobis. Anyways, that's not the point. The point is, it'd be dope if they stick to the samurai shit. You know what I mean? Where you just have to kill motherfuckers that deserve it on that island, right? Just other Japanese people. and then he just really become a legend within that fucking because his own government is is fucking hunting this motherfucker. He might as well just live that lifestyle. What are you gonna do? Just chill in a little cottage somewhere, just never deal with nothing until the second invasion. All of a sudden he just come out again? No, there's still bandits. There's still corrupt motherfuckers in power and shit. You know what I mean? There's just things that you could do. I'm describing Tenchu with Ghost of Tsushima, I guess. But basically that where he just like had to dive into more ninja shit. Well, Tenchu is like supernatural, like what I'm saying. You can do extra shit. You can turn into different people. You can turn invisible and shit. So not like that. I mean like just extra ninja shit, right? Like grapple hooks to like hook on walls and shit, like crawl on walls and what I'm saying, up roofs and shit and ceilings. Like every ninja tactic you can think of. Like give this man all the ninja tactics. I hate to disappoint you, Ikumu, but I promise you they're like brothers and sisters. I promise you, like in the sequel or in the third game, he's gonna like smash Tomoe. I promise you. I promise you it's gonna happen. I mean, she lost a brother. You know what I mean? She think of Jin like her brother. That's I feel like that's how their relationship is. I feel like Jin like shoot his shots though, but she wasn't with it. That's how I saw that shit played out. Maybe I'm wrong though. Maybe I'm wrong, but I feel like Tomoe is where it's at. I bet you like Tomoe will return. But I hope they do that in the sequel. That's what I want in the sequel to actually be more like very much ninja-esque. Basically have all the ninjas weapons and abilities and shit. Like you can expand more. And motherfuckers like, well then Japanese people like at that time, like, what are you gonna do about all the moves? And like, what do you mean? Like, all the weapons are still there. They use swords, they use spears, they use bows and arrows. They have fucking uh, shields too. You know what I mean? You'll just probably fight a lot more dudes with swords, but that's what you do in that game anyways. And be on some real like Japanese ancient Batman shit where he just roam around this fucking island killing motherfuckers that deserve it. He's ancient Japanese Batman, not Batman. This motherfucker kills everybody. If you deserve it, he's taking you out. You know what I'm saying? That'd be dope. And then on the third game, you can have Mongols come back, right? And when the Mongols come back for a second try, this motherfucker be ready for them. And of course, when the Mongols come back, they have new tactics, right? That he can learn from again. I think that'll be a solid, trilogy right there. Because if you do Mongols on the second one, what are you gonna do for the third one? I'm just saying that's solid right there, right? I don't even know what they're gonna do with God of War though. I don't even know what they're gonna do with it. I have no idea what Ragnarok's about. I'm not gonna even pretend like I have a clue of that shit. Does Kratos die and Atreus, Loki or whatever like make the fucking? It looks like the fucking serpent is coming out of fucking Kratos' mouth and Atreus' mouth. I don't get it. I don't get it. I don't really understand it. I don't, and I'm not gonna pretend like I do. I just can't wait to play that shit. Um, I can pretend like I do and guess. You know what I'm saying, and predict some shit, right? Um, you're definitely gonna have to fight. What's her name? God damn it, Freya. Yeah, you're definitely gonna have to fight Freya. It's just a fight just setting up to happen. You know what I mean? There's no way you won't fight Freya. There's no backing out of that shit. You definitely fighting her. Think about it. She's the queen of the Valkyries, the true queen of the Valkyries. There's no way you're not gonna fight her. I don't know if you're gonna kill her or not, but you're definitely gonna fight her ass. There's just no way you wouldn't. You have to fight the true queen of the Valkyries. You know how it is. He's fucking Kratos. And that'll be even more heartbreaking because he probably wouldn't want to. You know what I mean? And Atreus, like neither one of them want to kill this bitch. Like, but she's gonna ask for it. You know what I mean? She's gonna ask for it. I'm sure of it. That's just too good of a setup not to happen. I'm not even sure he's gonna fight Thor. Think about this shit. So Atreus dreamt. Well, he had a vision basically that within 3 years' time from the moment they came back to the crib from, you know, um, where the fuck that golden realm is. What was that realm called again? Jotunheim, right? After coming back from Jotunheim, they went to the crib and took a nap and shit, right? When they wake back up, he said it was 3 years, right? So 3 years from there, he's just gonna show up at the crib again. I mean, it's possible because the protective, stave is no longer fucking there, and I guess at the end of the journey, Kratos feel like Atreus can handle his own, so he don't even give a fuck no more. That's how I feel. Like I feel like he trained his son to be a formidable warrior to where he ain't gotta be scared of no bitch ass god to show up at the crib. It's just like whoever show up from now on, we fucking them up and we going back to the crib. You know what I mean? That's just how he feels at the end of the game. What I mean. That's so I don't even know if that's gonna happen. I think that premonition is just that. It's a hazy ass premonition because he's not grown yet. He's just getting them powers. It might not be accurate, right? It might happen in some type of way, but not like 3 years. They're just gonna show up at the crib and Kratos like, who are you and shit. You know what I mean? It's probably all kinds of other shit. You sure he's gonna die though? You sure Kratos gonna die? Maybe, maybe. Has two more games. So he's dying. Has two more games. Like I respect that. I feel like two more games. Well, two more games, including or not including Ragnarok. Are you talking about two more games that's in Ragnarok and one more game, or Ragnarok and then two other games? You know what is gonna happen if Kratos does die? Of course, Ragnarok will happen and all of Norse myth will be destroyed. But then again, they get rebirth, so does that even count? Don't they just go back to a cycle of rebirth after Ragnarok? Isn't that how it works? Or is Ragnarok the final time? Like it's the final like rebirth. Like it ends at Ragnarok, or is that just the ending of the cycle? I don't know Norse myth well enough to know. I'm quasi, with it when it comes to Norse myth, but I don't know it that well to talk about it like that. Including, huh? Including Ragnarok. It makes sense. I mean, that would make it a trilogy. So he would have two trilogy to his name and die and Atreus take over. But by the end of the third game, Atreus should be grown as fuck. That's about right. Because he's probably a teenager, like a grown, like I guess, an older teenager than he was. Like he's a preteen in the first game, but I don't really know how old Atreus is because here's what's fucked up about Atreus, right? Here's this what's fucked up, like how convoluted God of War is when it comes to trying to like narrow down a time because and here's the thing too. I know there's like graphic novels and all this other shit that shed more light into um, Kratos and his past, like what happens between him stabbing himself in the stomach and smashing like Faye, right? I know there's comics and graphic novels and shit out there that actually shed lights on it, but I play video games. I didn't get into this shit to read, graphic novels about God of War. I play God of War, right? So all I know about God of War is from the games. I have not read anything extra about it. So here's the problem with trying to narrow down how long time is for 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 Kratos and Atreus, right? Atreus lives with his mom and dad in a secluded area far away from everyone. I don't even know if this kid ever met another person ever before, you know, that journey in that game, right? So the issue is we don't know about Atreus well enough to know exactly how old he is, in the sense of in the sense that I don't really know if he is 12 years old, as in 12 years old, or he's like 1200 years old, but 1200 years old in a life of a god slash uh, giant is, it's like 1200 years old or some shit. You know what I mean? Because he lived with his mom and dad for like the longest. He doesn't know anything about the outside world until they went to on that journey to, sprinkle his mom's ash and shit. He doesn't know anything. He doesn't even know it's not normal for your dad to be that strong to be a regular motherfucker. He doesn't even know that. Like any other kid would know. Wait a minute, this motherfucker's hauling around trees on his shoulders and shit, fam. Like whole ass oaks that are big as fuck. Do you know how big a tree trunk like that is, boy? You know how heavy that shit is? This man's just carrying that shit. This man is pushing whole stabilizing units to temples and shit. You know what I mean? And this dude just think it's normal. This kid just think it's normal. So he doesn't really know anything. He doesn't probably even know like how old he is in the like span of things, right? So I don't even know like how old he is in a practical sense, like how many years really. I don't know what else to say. I don't know how else to say. Like scatter her ashes. My bad, cuz I did say sprinkle her ashes. I feel so fucked up. Hey, I was thinking that. That's how I sprinkle some crack on. Let's get the fuck out of here. Hey, that's exactly what happened. They sprinkled her ashes and you got the fuck up out of there. On dead bodies, on dead giants. You see that shit? On dead giants. Idiot. Boy, you mean big kid. You better relax. Kratos is a lot older than 50. That's what I'm saying. This motherfucker is thousands of years old, bruh. Kratos has to be hundreds, at least hundreds of years old. If you think about it, just in the original timeline alone, in Greek mythology, right? How old that motherfucker is already. Imagine the time span within his like original series when he, you know, almost died, begged Ares for help, And then Ares came through and helped, and he went through that journey, just the journey from the first game to the third game, bro. You know how many years that is? That's hundreds of years right there, at least. At least the times that he was locked up and shit, you know what I mean? And all kinds of shit. You have no telling like how old he really is. Not like in character, right? Because Zeus is just an old ass man. You don't even ask, like, you just know that he's thousands of years old, but like comparatively, he would be like, yeah, I don't know, a 70 something, 80 something year old man, right? That's buff as fuck still for of course, because he's a god, but whatever the case. Yeah, so like you don't even know exactly how old Kratos is, and because Atreus knows so little about anything about that until this journey, he probably doesn't even know how old he is. Like he could be like 1,000 years old already. You know what I mean? But to a motherfucker his age, I mean to a motherfucker of his lineage, it's just that ain't shit. That's just you still a child at 1,000 years old or some shit. Or maybe not. Maybe because he's part mortal, he grows up just like any other human. But Kratos, ever since he became godly, because he was a demigod before that, but after they made him godly, right? He doesn't really age normally no more. He aged slow as fuck. It's been thousands of years old, and he grew a beard. You know what I'm saying? I mean, in the original timeline, yeah, he's in like in the original timeline, he's in his like 20s, yeah. Well, maybe a little when he's probably in his 20s in God of War 1. Like he's probably mid like early to mid 20s in God of War 1. I'm pretty sure there's like actual lore out there that knows exactly. It's just me bullshitting around with y'all with the knowledge that I do know from the games themselves, right? Just playing the games themselves. From what I remember, that might be shit in the game that actually focus in on that shit. But Kratos ain't Kratos is probably in his 20s, like early 20s in the first God of War. Like he was still a beast general, but as you notice, he lost, right? And he actually asked Ares for help. You know what I'm saying? So he was still young at the time, and throughout the old ordeal of all this shit, he went through all kinds of shit. Just remember how long he was just being a slave to Ares. That's just like a bunch of human years just right there, bruh. You know what I mean? He did all kinds of shit for years and years for Ares before he killed his family. I mean, it's normal to do it now, Ayakumu. It's not weird to call your son boy. It's not. I don't know why. It's just something funny from the game, I guess, because just how much he says it. Right? But you know what's crazy? You know what's really crazy though? I almost feel like I don't know if y'all was there or not. Most of y'all were probably there on the round table when we had Jaffe on, right? And he was discussing his vision for the end of for the next God of War, where you know Kratos basically kills as like just an onslaught of gods just came through from all kind of mythos, right? Like I think he was like about to kill um, the all the Greek gods, and the Greek gods somehow called in all the gods from other mythos, and they came in, and it's basically him just fucking all of these gods up, just like every one of them that came through, he just keep on killing them until he realized that no matter what you do, gods will just exist, and their power come from the fact that people believe in gods, right? So he found a way to make them not believe in God anymore, to make mortals not believe in God, and so because of that, he also dies, but somehow got resurrected to be the horseman of the apocalypse. Well, Jaffe can explain it better to y'all. Y'all should go watch that episode. It was pretty dope. But yeah, so that still might be a reality. It's just shaped differently. Loki could destroy all the gods literally by making people not believe in gods anymore. You know what I mean? That could actually be a reality because the symbols, which by the way, those symbols don't mean war. By the way, not even the omega symbol. The omega symbol can mean war, but that's not what it means. Yeah, that's gonna be dope though. But that still could happen if you think about it. You know what I mean? Where they can still convince everyone that gods don't exist, and people just stop believing in them. But now he has a kid, so maybe shit changes. I don't know. I don't know yet. Or somehow turn every god mortal. I don't know. That's just far fetched. Like I said, I don't know what's gonna happen next. That's just that's why I'm actually excited. As y'all know, the last one is game of the generation for me. This game has a lot to live up to. I don't know if it could do it, to be honest with you. It's fucking it got some fucking shoes to fill, man. You know what I'm saying? It's not gonna be that easy. But yeah, man. What else? What else is there coming? I mean, of course, I really need to start seeing PS5 games, just PS5 games, no cross-gen games. Horizon is coming. I'm hyped for that. I know people talk about Horizon like it's mid or somehow it's like somehow mid, but bro, Horizon is the shit, man. It got stuff to work on too. It needs to work on its human AI. The human AI um, both friendly and combative. They suck, man. They put all the AI into the robots and make the humans just super dumb. I don't know why, but they made the humans super dumb. Even on the hardest mode, they don't seem that intelligent at all. Yeah, that's true, Ayakuma. But he would probably, well, if that's the case, if people don't believe, then would he lose his godlyhood and just be a regular dude? He still might be just strong as shit, but he'll just be a regular dude. He will no longer have godlyhood. He'll just keep the human portion of him. This is all speculation, of course, but it's fun to talk about because I'm just curious to know what route they're going. But I can almost guarantee that you will have to fight fucking Freya. And but you see, the next game is called Ragnarok. As in, next game Ragnarok's gonna happen. So will there be a third game? But that's why I think it also makes sense that the third game will be about destroying all gods. Really, just make people not believe in them anymore. Because I don't really know if Kratos can survive through another game, like through another fucking three in games. I think y'all right. By the third game of this fucking era, I think it's time to put him down. But it has to be something like grand, like a grand exit for a motherfucker that kills God like on a Tuesday evening for fun. You know what I mean? I'm just playing not for fun. Like he has a purpose usually. Well, sometimes he's mad as fuck. That's the purpose enough, I guess. And sometimes he's just mad as fuck and start stabbing motherfuckers. Yeah, man. I mean, Ghost didn't have the best AI. The AI in Ghost wasn't trash, but it wasn't great either. But yeah, Ghost does. Ghost fucking facial animation is lacking, bruh. And Horizon, I mean, let's see, Horizon and Ghost have the same issue of where you can only climb in certain areas, like certain designated area, which like Ghost has like a puzzle element to it when you climb and shit, so it's understandable. But I wish that like in the second game they just forego with that shit and just let you climb everything, you know? Like I said, be more ninja like, just be able to like have um those fucking Wolverine claws that I don't know what the fuck they're called that ninjas use to climb shit and stab motherfuckers with. Y'all know what I'm talking about, right? Like just have all of that shit. Just give them all the ninja tricks and shit. But yeah, Ghost does lack in that department. It had a couple of issues, man. That camera took a while to get used to. Once you get used to it, you don't even notice it anymore because you know how to maneuver the stick well enough to pause to be able to get the camera right while you're playing and shit. But it shouldn't take all that. You know what I mean? The camera should be decent enough. There's been enough uh, open world action game for you to be able to dial that in. You know what I mean? Like do your research, see that shit, make sure that doesn't happen to you type shit, but it still happened. That could be fucking annoying as fuck sometime when that happened. You know what I mean? It has some issues, but it's a solid game altogether. Like I think I have some of the best time of last generation playing that game. I still play it here and there on this generation, 60 frames and all that. It's just lit. You know what I mean? I'm actually playing New Game Plus. I waited until PS5 came out to play New Game Plus and shit. But since I already played it, it's not like I have to like finish it right away. I dabble back into it just for funs and shit. You know what I mean? But it's really good. It's just lack a few things that could have made it great. And I mean, the story is as solid as you can get for a game of that type of magnitude. Like, how deeper can you get with a samurai flick? Most samurai flicks are actually really shallow, like swordsman flicks and shit. The fucking narrative is actually very shallow. There's not a lot of twists, a lot of turns and shit. It's just very like straightforward. It's just cool to like see it play out. You know what I mean? Have y'all ever seen this Japanese movie? It's about this dude, right? Who's just evil as fuck. Like I think his dad or his something, his stepdad, like whatever it was, died and left him in power, and this dude was just evil as fuck. Like, he came to this noble family's crib and killed everybody, raped this dude's wife and cut off her arms, like not arms, cut off her hands and feet, but made sure she stayed alive. Like and killed everybody. And that like this dude was just super fucked up. But the girl somehow survived. The girl that had like got her hands and feet cut off, and they cut off her tongue too, so she can't even talk. Like somehow like she survived. Like he threw her out somewhere and she survived it. And the girl had one final request and found this old retired samurai and asked him to like take revenge for her and her family. And as a noble samurai, this dude accepted. And he's like he's gonna need to like build up a small army to be able to make that happen, and he did. And then they fucking waited for this dude to like go on a fucking journey from town to town and shit, and block off one of the fucking exits and fucking killed them motherfuckers, and killed like the whole fucking clique. And like it basically on both sides everybody died except for like two motherfuckers. That movie's dope as fuck. Like I forgot the name of it. All right, well, I appreciate you coming through, fam. I don't know. I don't remember the title of that movie. I gotta figure it out what that movie is. But that movie was pretty dope, man. And that's the plot. That's it. Just a dude who came to power. He was evil as fuck. Caused all kind of mayhem. Like everyone hated this motherfucker. It's just like certain samurais live by a code. Like, and you can actually see it in this movie. Like certain samurais like live by a code. So even when the dudes who like came through to assassinate him, they was like some of them was like colleagues with motherfuckers who was defending this motherfucker. Because these motherfuckers still believe in that code of like serving your master and shit. You know what I mean? Even if your master died and left his power to his crazy ass fucking son or nephew or whoever the fuck this kid is. You know what I mean? And that's why. So like you can actually still see that even though on both sides, like this evil ass little dude deserved to die, but on both sides they were still like gangsta ass motherfuckers. They're not really in the wrong for real. They just fucking killing each other. But the story was like that straightforward. There was just not a lot of twists and turns. That's just what it was. Most samurai movies are like just that straightforward. Think about some of the best samurai movies. Um, Seven Samurai. Just about a village who fucking get hassled by bandits, so they just hire seven motherfuckers to protect them, and they did. They gave everything to protect that village, and it's just on their word because they wasn't getting really paid much to do it anyways. You know what I mean? Fucking like all samurai flicks are actually very straightforward. This game actually has more twists and turns in it than actual samurai flicks. Nah, logical nonsense. I'm saying you shouldn't. That's the point of that movie. These motherfuckers like, accepted the request of that girl who lost both her hands and feet and tongue and her whole family basically. And when I mean whole family, I mean her whole um, clan, like Lady Adachi. You know what I'm saying? Her whole clan was killed, and she's the only person left, and she has no hands, no feet, no tongue. Think about that shit. You know what I mean? That shit sucks. So her only request is for you to take revenge. Like, and this motherfucker just accept her offer. Like, I forgot what her payment was. I mean, she's the daughter of a noble. I bet you she got money like laying around somewhere. I don't even know what the payment was. There's like a couple of details about that movie that's so dope. Even though like the story is straightforward, the characters in it was really dope because each characters had like a backstory in such a short period of time. It's almost like you understand each character. You know what I mean? It's definitely not an American movie. It's a Japanese movie. You have to watch it with subtitles. It's Japanese. That's why I can't remember the title because it's Japanese. But I know that you can watch it in America because there's subtitles. I've seen it before. I seen it like a couple years ago. It's not that old of a movie. But the shit is super dope, man. I don't fucking remember the title at all. I don't even. I might have to Google it and tell y'all next episode, which will be back to regular programming that fucking on Sunday. I don't even know why I thought of that movie. I'll probably just to give y'all an example of like how straightforward Japanese movies usually are when it comes to samurai shit. It's an action flick. It tells a good story, but usually it's just I for some odd reason, samurai flicks, like all the good ones, all the action usually get built up towards the end, and it's just nonstop action. It's almost like the 300 movie. You know what I mean? Where there's a little bit of action here and there and shit, and then it just build up to like and it's crazy amount of action at the end, right? I think that's the formula for it. It just builds with a couple of small fights that build up to like a giant war and shit. I think I did. Did I watch it on Netflix? I don't think I watched it on Netflix, but I think I did saw it on Netflix before. I just don't remember what it's called, but y'all should watch that shit. That shit was fire, and it's tragic as fuck, but it's so dope. You be watching it, be like getting mad as fuck. Like, man, I wish I could like reach through the screen and choke this dude. Cause motherfucker was evil as fuck, bro. But anyway, I got onto that whole movie just to say that, Ghost Story is as solid as can get. Matter of fact, it actually has more twists and turns than your average like samurai movie. But I want to see the next one. I want to see more ninja shit because you were still very samurai-esque in the first one, in the first Ghost. I gotta call it the first one because we're talking about a sequel, even though there's no such thing yet. I don't even has it even been like announced that there'll be a sequel? Have they even said anything about a sequel at all? Probably not, right? Should I Google it just to tell y'all? I might just have to Google it just to tell y'all. Let's see. See, you see why I'm not talking to this y'all focus. I want to find out what this movie's title is. I almost want to say it's 13 Samurai, but I'm not sure. Is it 13 Samurai Assassin? I think it's 13 Assassins. Let me double check. Hold on. Yeah, I think it is. I think it is 13 Assassins. It's been a while since I've seen it, so I could be wrong. But I think that's it. But there you have it, motherfucker. Now, where was I? I mean, I guess that's it, right? I mean, I know there's a lot of shit going on with the studio, like at Ben Studio, with all the people who's making Days Gone. But I really hope there's a sequel to that, man. I hate to say this, bro, but it seems like Sony's the only publisher that actually publish good, like enjoyable third part, like open world games like that. Besides from, of course, Rockstar. Rockstar is like the king of that shit. Shinobi. Um, which one, bro? There's so many different Shinobi movies. See, now I want to go see this movie again, man. I might have to go watch this movie again. Shit, shit was a dope ass movie. I mean, I'm always a pony, bro. What do you mean? How can I not be? I only play on the PlayStation. That makes me like a quintessential fucking pony. Like, even if I don't talk positively about Sony at all, I'm still a Sony pony because what else would I be, right? Oh yeah, I seen that, bro. You know what? Like, sometimes it's hard for me to get into those type of movies and shit. Are you talking about Ninja Assassin? Ninja Assassin was actually pretty dope. It's westernized as fuck, but that was fun to watch. You know that weapon, that chain and hook weapon, the Kurosaki or whatever it's called, or the Kirigama. I hope I'm like referring to the right names. You know what I'm talking about, right? The hook attached to the string, or a kunai attached to a chain, or you know what I'm saying? Any of those combinations. I've always wondered about those type of weapons, like the practicality of them back in the day, man. Because in mainland Asia, there's weapons like that too, like either like a chain with like a hook on the end and a giant heavy ass ball on the other end. And I'm like, how practical is that in like ancient battlefields back in the day? You know what I mean? Like, first of all, like you have to be so good at using it that you can wield that in the middle of a battlefield, bruh. And those weapons came out during time of battle. Like, they're not like during peaceful times where like there were just rival clans and shit. You know what I mean? There was like all out war and shit. Yeah, chain and sickle, whatever the fuck it's called, man. I don't know what they're called in English, bro. Like, what the fuck? But like those type of weapons, like how well are they used back in the day? Like, how does it make sense to use one of those? Like in games, they made it look cool and shit, right? And it might make sense to fight one or two motherfuckers with that, but once you lose momentum with that chain, it's like, what do you do, bro? Like when a motherfucker like come at you with a fucking giant saber and shit, you know what I'm saying? Or what is it? What are they called? Hellberg or Hellberg? Like, I don't know what it's called. Like, I don't know how to say that word. I've only seen it in text. I've never heard a person say that word. I don't even know how to say it. I might have to click on Google and ask it how to say it and shit. That weapon, the con use at the end of the game. Y'all remember that big ass fucking, what do y'all call that? I don't even know how to pronounce that word because I've never actually heard a person say that word. But a weapon like that would be fucking, valuable on the battlefield. Like, how does fucking a chain and sickle fucking make sense. You know what I mean? How useful with that shit, especially on horseback. Like, well, maybe actually on horseback it might make a lot of sense. You just be whipping that fucking hook around and shit. You know what I mean? Ride on horseback, it just fucking. I guess that might work. Like in movies and games, they make that shit look so cool and shit. Yeah, I believe that's correct. Ayakumu it's used to like trample horses and like level battlefields and shit. I don't think it was ever meant. It could be for like one man to man combat, but I think it's like damn near useless in like a war fucking environment. You know what I mean? Like in a battlefield type environment. Like no one would use such a insane weapon to fight multiple enemies, or at least like you will have to fight multiple enemies as they come towards you. You might fight one at a time, but there'll be more coming. I don't think a chain and sickle makes sense. But then again, there's certain weapons that doesn't make sense at all. Like honestly, nunchucks. I know Bruce made it look real cool, but they're such fucking ridiculous weapons. Believe it or not, even though you hear the saying all the time, you know, the weapon doesn't make the fighters bullshit. You add a dangerous weapon to a regular motherfucker, he became more dangerous. You add a weapon to a well trained motherfucker, he just became so much more dangerous. A weapon is dangerous, putting into any hands. You know what I mean? A knife is dangerous in a 10-year-old hands. You know what I mean? Like, but what I'm saying is, like that weapon would not make sense at all in a battlefield, no matter how good you are. No, like most ninja weapons are like derived from farm tools, and also a lot of them was made to look like farm tools to be disguised. But um, the original halberd, I guess that's what how y'all say it. I don't know. I don't know if it's right or not. It originally started off from a spear, and a spear is like the most ancient weapon of all time, bro. And you know what's crazy? That halberd is actually my favorite weapon. I have no idea how to use it. I'm not gonna pretend like I do. Well, I can mimic like I know how to use it, but I don't. I've never been properly trained to use one of those and shit. I've never been properly trained to use any weapon. Let's just say I just study about them. I just know well enough to like do some shit to look like I know how to do it. But no, I don't know how to do none of that shit for real with any of those weapons. But I think that like that helmet is the dopest shit. Like in war times during feudal era, that's like the most gangster ass weapons. You have a giant blade on one end, and you have a spear on the other end, fam. Game over. And of course, Guan Yu had it. He had one where there's a dragon's head that opens up, and from the mouth of the fucking dragon comes a giant blade, bro. Have you ever played Dynasty Warriors, man? I always wonder why they call it in the game. They call it War Blue Dragon, when in reality it's War Green Dragon. Well, not in reality, in history, the Guan Yu blade is War Green Dragon. Why do they call it War Blue Dragon? Is that for whatever reason? Is that copywritten? Like the original Guan Yu family ain't down to let them use the actual name, but they let them use Guan Yu. I don't like maybe that's just a translation error or something. I don't know. But like growing up, like the stories that I was told of Guan Yu, it's War Green Dragon. Did y'all know that there's a lot of Asian people in Asia that worship Guan Yu as a god? He was a living dude in history, and he's worshipped like a god. not only as a god, but a god of war. He's literally like the Asian fucking Kratos. Well, not really. He's like the Asian Tyr. He is not the Asian Kratos. Not at all, actually. Not even close. He's like the Asian Tyr. Um, police, like he's the weirdest god ever because in Asia, police worship him and gangsters worship him. It's a weird ass dilemma. He's one of the few gods that actually get respects from gangsters and police. It's the oddest shit. Who the fuck have time to learn a motherfucking weapon in the 21st century, motherfucker? I have a Glock. Like, fuck all that. Hey, Lubu, even though he's really like cold in the battlefield, you know that he's a cuck, right? Lubu's a fucking cuck, fam. He's only good for that shit. He's dumb as a brick, like. But I guess he is a beast, and his headdress is dope. His was it headdress? That shit, that Wukong looking shit. That shit's dope. I always wondered that as a kid, man. Like, how come they call it War Blue Dragon? That shit actually bothered me. I'm like, you got everything right. Well, almost everything right, but you call it like such a fucking, is there's few weapons in Asian history that's like more popular than that. You have to like almost go mythical. You have to go like to Wukong like power staff, like to be more famous than Guan Yu's fucking War Green Dragon. You know what I'm saying? There's not a lot of weapons in Asian history that's more famous than that weapon, man. What's the odd dichotomy though, Akumu? Like they worship him as a god, like by both gangsters and police. It makes no sense. Two sides of the same coin worship the same god. Speaking of speaking of Wukong, man, when is this game even announced to be released? Do we even have a release date for this motherfucker? You know what's funny about like this game? It's gonna show people like how many people don't really know Journey to the West at all. Like I'm sure most people have heard of Journey to the West, but I'm sure they only know of Journey to the West because like Dragon Ball Z and shit. You know what I mean? It's based on Journey to the West. Oh yeah, what do you know about Journey to the West? Nothing. I just know Dragon Ball Z is based off of it. You know what I mean? That's how I feel like the knowledge people have, and I sometimes I feel kind of petty, like you know what I mean, like why don't I feel like motherfuckers better than that to be more knowledgeable and culture more culture than that? Because I feel like I've been around these motherfuckers for too long. You know what I'm saying? These dumbass motherfuckers out there for too long to talk about shit they have no idea what they're talking about. You know what I mean? And I just think the worst of people lately. But I'm pretty sure there's a decent amount of people that know enough of Journey to the West lore. But there's just so many insane shit that happens in that fucking story, though. How are they gonna put They probably can't do all of that in one game. That'd be ridiculous. There's no way you could do all of that in one game. Or they're probably not gonna redo the Journey into the West. That wouldn't even make sense because then you have to follow the monk around and shit and protect them and all that. I don't think that's what's gonna happen. I think, yeah, I mean, I think the trailer already said that that that's already been done. Like he's already reached godhood. That's what the other monkey is, I guess. He's already went to the to the promised land in the West. And when they say West in this story, they don't mean West like in America or Europe or something. West they mean like India. Because you gotta remember this story was written like thousands of years ago. Well, not thousands, but 8,000 years ago. You know what I mean? Um, in Asia. So you can imagine how how decent of a trip it is to walk barefoot from East Asia all the way to like India, somewhere in India. I'm not even sure where the promised land is in India. It's just Buddhism was started in India. So that's where the promised land is. You feel me? So I don't even know like how much of that story they're gonna do. Are they doing like are they just gonna have a couple of the characters in the story, or they're just gonna break it into sections and give you all the characters? Because some of the fights I don't even know how it works. His head necklace, you mean his head crest? Doesn't he have it though? Wait, actually, I never checked that because that's I think the real Wukong would have that, right? That's the only way that the monk can control him is because he has that little ring around his head. So if he doesn't have that, that's not the real Wukong. Even when he became a god, like that never came off of his head. I think at the end he wore it proudly. You know what I mean? God damn, Hakumu, I didn't even know there's that many of them. I haven't even seen that much. I ain't going front, I haven't seen that much. So, my knowledge of Journeys to the West is my dad read it to me when I was like real young, when I was like 5. He read the original book, and the original book, I am not kidding you, in Vietnamese was thicker than fucking encyclopedias. It was fucking thick. It was literally like I'm trying to figure out how to explain how big this motherfucking book is, but it looked like bricks, like big ass bricks, like fucking stacked on top of each other. You know what I mean? It was like a crazy ass book, and I remember my dad actually reading it through like the whole thing, right? And then I watched the show when I was like 9 or 10, and I don't know how the people who made this game got the rights to the song from that show when I was like that show came out in like the 80s, man. It was like made in the 80s. That song is fucking iconic, bro. Like I don't know how they was able to like get that fucking song. It must have cost all kind of money. And they made a remix to it? Bro, like you know what? The show wasn't half bad because the show actually followed the book exactly. And and the special effects is like super cheesy now. You know what I'm saying? It's from the 90s. I mean, not the 90s. It's from the 80s. So like the special effects are like super cheesy now, like super cheesy. But you know what I'm saying? When I saw it, I was like 6 or 7, so that shit was super dope when I was a kid. And still, even to this day, if I like go back to watch certain clips of it, like certain parts still hit hard as fuck. Even though like now I can see like all the flaws in it and like how like cheesy it is and shit. Not cheesy in like they don't take it seriously. They took it very seriously and it showed. But all the special effects and all the makeup and all that shit's like really dated now. You know what I mean? But it was still like, if you still watch it, it's still good. But by today's standard, all that special effects is like really cheesy. But so yeah, my dad read the book to me when I was a kid, and then I watched the show, and I came here and I read the book again, but I read it in English, and it was really weird in English. So I went back and read it in Vietnamese again, um, and then I watched like a couple of cartoons about them, but all the cartoons always, because they're cartoons, they can never actually be as accurate to the stories. Like I noticed that all the TV shows, the live action TV show was incredible though. You know what I'm saying? And all the movies that have been done are kind of shitty. Um, there hasn't been that many good like retellings of it in a while, actually. You know what I'm talking about, Akumu? That like the original like from the 80s with that original song. That song is still dope to this day. Like as soon as that song come on, I would know exactly what song that is just from like a couple of notes from any part of it, because like certain parts of it sound nothing like the rest of the song. You know what I mean? That's how deep of an impact that series was to me, because I was probably such a kid. You know what I mean? That shit was super dope. I can't wait for this shit. I don't know how they got the rights to that song and they made it a remix out of it and shit. Maybe that's how they was able to do it, because it's not like that song, even though all this like is the same fucking thing. They just fucking modernize it, I guess. Y'all wouldn't understand. Y'all grow up in a different generation than I did. But that show was fucking incredible. That show was incredible from the 80s. Speaking of stuff that I'm looking forward to that I don't know much about, fucking Elden Rings, man. What the fuck? When we get an Elden Ring? I can't wait for that shit either, but I still don't even know what it's about. I haven't really seen shit about it. I hope so, Hakumu. I mean, it looks amazing though. Like I feel like, and it's, I hate to say it, but this story, when it was written in a time where China just became China, right? So this story is a big deal to Chinese people. I don't think as a whole like they want this to fail. I think, this has to do well, because this is, it's odd. Most people think Buddhism is like a Eastern culture, like a Eastern fucking religion, right? Which it is, but it actually didn't originate from where you guys think. Like you consider that, like, usually when you think of Buddhism, you think like like East Asian motherfuckers like me, right? But it actually originated from India. And the fucked up part is most Indian people in India is not Buddhist. They're still Hindus and all this other stuff. Buddhism is not that popular in India. Its birthplace. Isn't it weird? I know this might upset some of my Indian friends. Not the broke ones, the rich ones. But I don't have any rich Indian friends, so it don't fucking matter. But the reason why Buddhism doesn't do well in India is because Buddha doesn't care for class. He doesn't like to separate people, in terms of class. He was a prince that, became like a nomad basically, just a wandering teacher. He's a literal prince, And she was like, fuck all this. Fuck the good life and just be out. You know what I mean? So Indian people nowadays wouldn't like that too much. They're really, as a society, Indian people are, like, take class very seriously. Even more so in America standards. You know what I mean? Like a lot more than American standards. You think class matter in America? Class matters so much more in India. You can't even, if you broke, you can't even talk to a rich motherfucker in India. Yeah, yeah, Magnificent Black. But I mean, god damn it. Like, show me something. It's been so long I haven't heard shit from that game, man. And I'm a From Software fanboy, so like I'm hyped for it. Just show me what I need to be hype about. Like the original concept trailer seems dope. Like I'm down for White Girl Sekiro, you know what I mean? But just show me what's good. Like I really hope they're not going through development hell for this game, man. I really hope this isn't From Software Cyberpunk. Please don't let it be. I have trust in them though. I have trust in From Software. Their game usually come out pretty like polished and well made. Sometimes people might think their game are poorly made, but no, it's just because you need to get good. There's nothing wrong with their game. As you can tell, fucking I fly that flag strongly. I'm a fucking From Software fanboy forever, forever. But yeah, man. I mean, I'm just being real. Like Buddhism isn't really popular in India because Indian people, you know, consider having money in class better than a broke motherfucker. Like you're not equal to me if you broke. You know what I mean? And that's fucked up, really. But that's how they society is. That's how they society is. Why you think there's people like so many people that lives there in slums and no one gives a fuck? It's because they don't really gives a fuck. That's just what it is. I mean, I guess that's just naturally anywhere, but more so there because like I said, like I'm not kidding. If you broke, you can't even talk to a rich bitch. Has that ever worked out though? To have like two people like, who are extremely talented work on something, and to have them mutually be able to work on it, like to collab and do it well, like in the gaming space like that, or just in media in general, in like just in entertainment. I mean, I guess we could have seen what would have happened with Kojima and Del Toro with Silent Hill, but hopefully, that still exists. But either show me or just stop with the rumors, man. I can't handle it no more. Oh god damn, it's midnight. I didn't know I was going this long, man. I guess I must have enjoyed myself. That scared with my eye. Like I don't know if y'all was here at the beginning of the podcast to know to hear that story, but I mean, on just play it on the run back. I thought it was funny, not at the time, but now I do. Now that I can see properly again, I feel like that shit's hilarious now, but it wasn't when I was going through it. You know what I'm saying? But I think I'm out, man. I've been here for 2 hours. I need to hop off. I still got shit to do in the morning, and my eyes not completely healed yet, so I don't want to fuck around too much. I want to actually see if I can play a game for a little bit. I haven't played games at all lately because of this shit. Yeah, it's rough. I mean, I hope it turns out well. You know, it's ambitious. I'm thinking it's ambitious for From Software game to do like a quasi multi like open world game, but we'll see what happens. I hope it go. I think that's the reason why we haven't heard anything from it because it's going through some development problems. But it is what it is. I mean, take as long as you need to figure that shit out. But god damn, man, I'm just thirsty for some information. But all right, man, I appreciate y'all coming through. Um, I mean, it's been fun. Like I said, I have a lot of plans for the channel. I finally figured out what I want to do with it. It just took a while. That's why all I do is the podcast here and there. It's just I just don't really know what to do with it. But I appreciate y'all coming through, man. I'll keep it interesting in the oncoming days and months, bro. Like I just don't want to tell y'all what it is. Y'all just see it when it comes out and shit. But I appreciate y'all kicking it, man. Flush, Rex, Gambit, I'm out. Good night.